Tuesday, September 3rd, 2013, running commentary number 2042. So today I was perusing, or actually not perusing now, I was browsing. There we go. Browsing Netflix. Said, what's on the old Netflix that might be good to watch? And Monsters, the Gareth Edwards film, is streaming right now on Netflix. So I said, hey, you know what? I'll check this out. Because I'd heard good things, and it was mentioned the other day. I forgot why. But, I think it had something to do with kaiju. Because it's got a little kaiju going on there. Giant monsters and whatnot. So I decided to have a gander. And as I did, I started looking it up and realized that Gareth Edwards is the guy behind the Attila the Hun BBC doc, starring Rory McCann, of course, who is the Hound in Game of Thrones, and how he did essentially all of these fantastic special effects or visual effects by himself, and they did and they show the whole process on YouTube, which is amazing. So he got to do this feature a few years ago in 2010. Did it with a 6-person crew and a budget of, like, for the shoot, I think $15,000 is what I understand. And then the whole budget for everything was like $500,000. So that is phenomenal. I was watching and I was just in amazement. I was like, wow. I was like, they did this for $15,000 with a crew of like 6 people. Tremendous. I mean, so let me talk about the film for a little bit. In the story, 6 years ago, NASA found life in outer space, sent out a probe. Probe crashes back to Earth, and that brings with it alien life, I think. So there is now an area between Mexico and the United States called the infected zone. And the U.S. has built a huge wall to keep the alien life out of the United States. And we meet our protagonists, who are a woman and a photographer. The photographer has been hired or given the mission to bring the daughter back to the United States from Costa Rica, and accompany her there, basically by the owner of the publication, the father of the girl in question, whose names I don't remember. I don't remember any names. The actress is Whitney Able, and the actor is Scooter McNary, and I actually just saw him in Killing Them Softly, the film starring Brad Pitt. So I was like, oh, hey, it's that guy. So, but it was a very good film. I really liked it, and it is much, it's low budget. When you do see the monsters, it's very good. It's excellent. But you don't see the monsters a lot. So it's a lot more about kind of the atmosphere and kind of like just the journey that these two are trying to make from Costa Rica to the United States. And but it's very well done. And like for the low budget, I mean, I'm impressed by the low budget factor. I think some people might watch it and it's like, oh, it's obvious they didn't have any money. But I was like just blown away by what they were able to accomplish for that small amount of money. And now I'm going to go read more because I love it. I love the fact that you can go out with 6 people and do something like this. It was a modest story as far as like the scope of it. So you're able to do this story in a world where there are aliens that are 450 feet tall, apparently, and I guess that's what they were saying. Yeah, because they were saying like 150 meters. So, in this world where there's these gigantic monsters, you focus on 2 people and then like a handful of other people that they interact with. And you're able to keep the scope of it small so that you can tell that story and shoot it with 6 people. So I think that's pretty phenomenal because I do love that. I mean, big productions are amazing and awesome and great and stuff, but I love being able to make a film with a handful of people because it's a much more intimate process, and it's kind of like being involved in virtually every aspect. I mean, when we did Chris and Carol, we had like a crew of like 6 maybe. And or less, like 5, but there's it's fun when you're doing movies with like 6 people, and I think like probably that's similar to like Werner Herzog when he was doing like say Fitzcarraldo or something like that. Probably a very similar production with a similar number of crew, but yeah. So Monsters by Gareth Edwards on Netflix now.
So if you're an indie filmmaker, you definitely want to watch it. If you're a fan of that genre or something like that, just remember, it's more about what you don't see, building up to the moments when you do see the creatures and stuff like that, that makes it good. So until tomorrow, have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.